Hey everybody, and welcome back to Bearcat Update. Today, I'll be updating you on how the seasons are looking for our spring sports. From thrilling victories to heartbreaking defeats, we've got a lot to cover, so let's get right into it. It was another historic week for the Bearcat women's basketball team as they extended their win streak to 5 with wins over a pair of conference foes and improved to 15-10 on the season and 8-7 in the MIAA. Against the Missouri Southern Lions on Thursday, sophomore Sadie Moss recorded the first ever triple-double in program history. The Bearcats needed every bit of Moss's staggering 17 points, 18 rebounds, and 11 blocks as they managed a hard-fought 65-60 win over the Lions. Moss's 11 blocked shots also set a single-game record for Northwest and tied the top mark in MIAA history. Things didn't get any easier for the Bearcats on Saturday as they were able to grind out a 65-59 win over the 20th-ranked Pittsburgh State Gorillas. Brooklyn Stanley led the group effort with 15 points, and Moss recorded another impressive performance with 12 points, 9 rebounds, 3 blocks, and 3 steals as the Bearcats earned their first road win over the Gorillas since 2010 and head coach Austin Meyer's 5th career victory over a ranked opponent. The Bearcats will return home on Thursday as they look to keep the momentum going against Northeastern State. The Bearcat men's basketball team picked up its 3rd road win of the season with an 81-74 victory over Missouri Southern Lions in Joplin on Thursday. Seniors Royce Williams and Aiden Gare led the way for the Bearcats, with Williams putting up 24 points, 5 assists, and 6 rebounds, while Gare added an efficient 21 points on 9 of 13 shooting and 2 steals. The Bearcats headed into Saturday's matchup against Pitt State looking to get back-to-back wins for the first time since November. Northwest took a 37-33 lead heading into halftime and surged ahead with a series of key plays early in the second half, highlighted by a Robbie Garcia three-pointer. However, the Gorillas stormed back late, trailing by just 2 points in the final minutes before Pittsburgh State's Ethan Sage hit a go-ahead three-pointer to give the Gorillas the 68-67 win over the Bearcats. Northwest now sits at 12-14 and is 5-10 in the MIAA. They will return home on Thursday to take on Northeastern State. The softball team finished up play in the D2 Battle and JUCO Jam, winning 3 of 4 games. The defense played a major role in the victories, allowing just 2 runs between the 3 victories. Pitcher Jaden Striegel also pitched a complete game shutout against University of Missouri St. Louis, giving up just 4 hits while only walking 1 batter. The Bearcats are off to a hot start and will look to continue their success as they head into Washburn Invitational on Friday. For more on the softball team, our reporter Rayna Wozniak takes a look at their fast start and how things are looking in the MIAA.
This is Rayna Wozniak with Bearcat Update. The Northwest Missouri State women's softball team is finding its stride at the right time. The Bearcats improved to an 8-5 overall, posting a .615 winning percentage and extending their win streak to 5 games, following an impressive run of performances. Northwest secured a 2-1 victory over Southwest Baptist on February 12th during its trip down to Branson, and the win added significance. The milestone marked head coach Naomi Tejas' 100th career victory in the program, further solidifying her impact on Bearcat softball. Under Tejas' leadership, the program has continued to trend upward. She has produced 14 All-MIAA selections in her first 4 seasons at the helm and has guided the Bearcats to back-to-back 28-win seasons in 2023 and 2024. In 2024, Northwest softball posted a 15-11 conference record, securing their first winning mark in MIAA play since finishing 16-10 in 2018. Conference competition is just the beginning, with all MIAA teams currently sitting at 0 in the league play. Looking at all overall records across the conference, Pittsburgh State leads all the way at 11-0, Missouri Southern stands at 10-1, and Missouri Western follows closely behind at 10-2. Northwest remains firmly in the position within what is shaping up to be a highly competitive MIAA race. Last year, former reporter for Bearcat Update Anthony Martinez sat down and talked with Tejas about the MIAA conference.
The biggest thing for us is to be able to compete for a regional. Our conference is really hard, and not to say that we don't want to win conference, because we do, but that's a really hard task to do. But historically, top 4 teams in our conference get to make a regional. So that to me is something that we strive for, that we think about, that where, hopefully in the next couple of years we get to go do that.
The momentum continued on February 13th as the Bearcats delivered a dominant 5-0 victory over UMSL, extending their winning streak and building confidence as conference play unfolds. With 5 straight wins in league competition underway, Northwest looks to maintain its momentum and continue climbing in all MIAA standings. As the postseason progresses, we wish the best of luck to our Northwest Missouri State women's softball team as they continue to pursue their success. This has been Rayna Wozniak with Bearcat Update. Back to you guys.
The baseball team is in the midst of its final exhibition series this season against CSU Pueblo. With 2 games down already, the series is currently tied 1-1. In the first game on Thursday, it was the bats of the Thunderwolves that won the day as CSU Pueblo tallied 15 hits, while the Bearcats managed just 5 in the 10-1 loss. The Bearcats then bounced back on Saturday, pulling off a stunning 8-7 win in extra innings, powered by first baseman Jeremiah Kabuyabon, who racked up 4 hits in 4 at-bats, 3 RBIs, and a run. After the Thunderwolves staged a late comeback in the 6th and 7th innings to tie the game up at 7 runs apiece, Bearcat second baseman Michael Good delivered a 2-out RBI single in the top of the 9th to score Kabuyabon, handing CSU Pueblo their first loss of the season. The baseball team is back in action today as they play Game 3 of the current series. And now, we're going to take our first break of the show. When we come back, Gabe Porter and Jackson Phelps will give us their picks for the upcoming slate of MIAA and Bearcat games. We'll be right back.
For over 100 years, the Northwest Missourian has been the cornerstone of campus life and the greater Maryville community, covering topics that have shaped our society and capturing the history of Northwest Missouri's life. The award-winning publication continues to act as a primary source of topical news, spanning several generations of college students. The Northwest Missourian, covering campus and community.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to your place for all things nerdy and entertaining, Nerd Central. We're back with a new crew, new packs, and a new... never mind, I'm still the host. Yes! And, well, that's not all that's new. Here is our fun little quiz corner, where we take 1 to 2 people and quiz them on how nerdy they really are. Check out all of this on Fridays at 12 p.m. only on KNWT TV.
Welcome back to Porter's Picks. My name is Gabe Porter, and we've got a whole new slate of games for this week's predictions, so let's get right into it. To start off this week, we're going to head to St. Joseph, Missouri for the Arkansas-Fort Smith and Missouri Western matchup. The Griffins went on a 7-game win streak back in December, with some of their biggest wins being over Northwest Missouri State 99-77, Avila 92-81, and William Jewell 82-56. The majority of their wins being over 75 total points. Now, the Griffins currently stand at 8th in the MIAA, hoping to climb further up the totem pole. On the other side of the court, Arkansas-Fort Smith has been dominant almost all season. Being from Northwest should make this one an easy pick. However, Missouri Western has been a sneaky team all season long. So give me the Northwest rival, the Missouri Western Griffins, 78-73. Our MIAA matchup of the week is going to be the number 5 ranked Missouri Southern Lions versus the number 6 ranked Pittsburgh State Gorillas. Both teams have had a relatively solid season so far, with the Gorillas scoring over 70+ points in 16 total games, making them quite the challenge for the ranked Lions. Missouri Southern, on the other hand, has had a handful of games over 100 points, with some of those being against Northeastern, Ozark Christian College, and Tabor College. While that's a big statement for the Lions, in their last matchup, the Lions lost 82-71 against the Gorillas, with both offenses putting up some big numbers. I'll go ahead and take the Pittsburgh State Gorillas to go 2-0 on the Lions, 83-79. Last but not least, our Bearcat Update Game of the Week. The Lady Bearcats continue carving their way through the ranks as they sit top 8 in the MIAA. But do not count out the top 5 ranked Northeastern State. The Bearcats took last year's matchup, winning 53-45, extending their win streak against the Riverhawks to 6. The two face off this Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Now, the Cats had a rough midseason, dropping 7 of 8 before winning 3 straight. The Riverhawks are trying to come out of a 3-game slide while dropping games to Nebraska Kearney, number 8 ranked Fort Hays State, and Missouri Southern. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take the Bearcats in this matchup. With the Cats being on a roll, it's going to be a challenge to slow them down. Northwest wins this matchup 68-57. Now that's all for Porter's picks, and for a deeper dive into the Bearcat Update Game of the Week, let's throw it over to Jackson Phelps as he brings us his Bearcat Breakdown.
Thanks, Gabe. Welcome back to another week of Bearcat Breakdown. I'm your host, Jackson Phelps, and today we will be breaking down the women's basketball game against Northeastern State. Let's dive in. The Bearcats will be back at home after a week-long road trip, taking on the Riverhawks on Senior Day. The Bearcats will be honoring both Ella Moody and Emery Zars as seniors on Thursday. The Bearcats are currently on a 6-game winning streak over Northeastern and won last year's matchup 53-45. Some notable players to watch out for in this game are, starting with the Riverhawks, are Mackenzie Smith. She leads Northeastern in scoring with 13 points per game, 5.4 rebounds per game, and along with 32 assists. Another Riverhawk the Bearcats are going to have to pick up on is Diana Douglas, and she is averaging 10.9 points per game, 5.3 rebounds per game, and 16 blocks. Over on the Bearcats side, it's freshman Bailey Birmingham, who leads the Cats in scoring, averaging 11.6 points per game, along with 3.4 rebounds per game, and leads the team in three-pointers with 50. Another name to watch for on the Cats is sophomore Sadie Moss, who leads the team in rebounds per game with 7.6 and blocks with 48 and averages 6.4 points per game. This matchup will be a big one to watch for. Both teams are on the come-up in the MIAA standings and are looking to lock down a spot in Kansas City for the MIAA tournament. Once again, I will agree with Gabe and take the Bearcats in this matchup. We're going to take a quick break, and when Bearcat Update returns, I'll be back out with Wiley for another edition of Weekend Sports Report. We'll be right back.
Here at Tower Yearbook, we are a dedicated staff of photographers, designers, copywriters, and practicum students.
Our staff is a student-led, student-run media outlet, producing a book with over 300 pages. Be sure to pop out at any of our portrait or distribution events.
So stay tuned to our social media to see what's up.
Transitioning into college can be so frightening. We may not know what we want to do, but eventually we find our passion. Some of us are driven by numbers or creativity, while others are motivated by logic or structure. Although our study paths never cross, at the end of the day, we're all aiming to reach that finish line. Learning isn't about standing apart. It's about discovering where we meet. And that's why we all have major perspectives.
Welcome to the Weekend Sports Report. My name is Wiley Ray. This is Jackson Phelps. We have a lot to cover today, so let's get right into it. Cue that intro. Jackson, it was a great week for the Bearcat women's team as they were able to get 2 wins and add on to a 5-game win streak.
It really was. I mean, we start off with that game in Joplin, Missouri against Missouri Southern, the 3rd-ranked team in the MIAA. The Bearcats had a tough test against them, and they walked in to Joplin and made it their game. Sadie Moss, I mean, what a performance. She had 17 points, 18 rebounds, 10 blocks, the first triple-double in Northwest history. I mean, she made it her game. This is her team now. She kind of took on that leadership role. And the Cats won by 5 there, and then another great win against Pitt State.
Yeah, you know, you were talking about going into enemy territory, hostile territory, I should say, and, you know, Sadie Moss helping block out the noise for the Bearcats and leading for that win. But, let's just talk about how her season's been. Her season has been phenomenal for Northwest as a sophomore.
Yeah.
In really showing true strides. And, they had Kelsey Fields, they had Emma Atwood, they had a lot of other key components to that Bearcat team of the past.
Yeah.
But it seems like you left off where you started with Sadie Moss. Came in as a freshman last year, started, and really she's at the level she's at. Who would have thought that a sophomore is making this big of an impact already for the Bearcats?
Right. She's almost averaging, 10 rebounds a game, scoring just about 7 points a game, 10 rebounds a game. I mean, that's going to win you ball games when you have your 5 down low, being able to get the boards and also be able to get second chance points to continue the possessions. That's what you want out of a player like Sadie Moss. And like I said, the leadership, she has the biggest voice out on the court. She's given her teammates all the motivation that they need throughout the game. She's always telling them in the huddle, hey, let's go. We got to get back up there and win. She was a big reason why the Missouri Southern game went their way. And then also Pitt State. I mean, that game was amazing. They won by a couple possessions as well. So, yeah, that women's team, 5 in a row now. This team is hot. And they got hot at the right time as we near the MIAA tournament.
We talked about it, I believe, either last week or you and I have talked about it, where a lot of teams, you don't want to lose in February.
Right.
You'd rather lose in January,
Right.
You'd rather lose in December, because right now is the best time to get hot.
Yeah.
And this is at all levels of basketball, high school, D1, D2, D3, NAIA,
Right.
JUCO. Right now is the best time to get hot. And we're seeing that right now as the women's team, they're knocking on the door. They're sitting 7th in the MIAA. And right now the top 10 teams make the tournament in Kansas City at the beginning of the month. So right now, like you said, the best time for the women's team to find their stride and to win 5 straight. And they got a good test coming up with the last 2 home games and the last 2 road games of their regular season. And then, hey, it's Municipal Auditorium for the Cats if they can manage to pull out a couple more wins.
Like you said, getting hot at the right time for the women's team. The men's team, on the other hand, it was a great win against Missouri
Yep.
Southern this week, but just against Pitt State, it was a tough loss. Just at the final possession. Another one the Bearcats had right there. They just couldn't get the job done down the stretch. It was a great game. We saw back and forth action between both teams. Just defensively on the last possession, it just broke down for the Cats, and it ended up not going their way.
Yeah, I had a chance to watch it on the stream, with it being in Pittsburgh, Kansas, being here in Maryville. I definitely had a chance to watch it, but, the Gorillas pulling out a squeaker against the Bearcats, 68-67. It really, it stinks because obviously it's a shoulda, coulda, woulda win for the Bearcats. But, hey, let's look at the season in comparison from how it was this year to last year.
Right.
Night and day difference here in the second year for head coach Matt Keeley. And it's not the trajectory that a lot of people were wanting. They're wanting probably more of a straight-up change rather than, a gradual.
Right.
But right now, it's at least a change that's going in the right direction. And a lot of fans, I think, are expecting, with Coach McCollum leaving, they were expecting a quicker change than what they're getting, but I think a lot of it is just, you just have to trust the process, because eventually that process is going to love you back. And, the Bearcat faithful, I think, just needs to maybe calm down a little, but I think they're in a good headspace, and I think they're going to make things happen here as it goes on. But we're going to shift it to my favorite segment, Rays, Plays, and Highlights. Let's take a look at play number 1. And this one right here, Jackson, this has been kind of the key to success for the Bearcats, finding a good backside pass to Bailey Birmingham. She's been one key component for the Bearcat offense up top, and this right here is one of it.
Yeah.
She can either shoot the 3, but she's also driving off a defender, because that defender cheats too high because she knows Birmingham can shoot that 3 ball. But Birmingham also goes, okay, I'm going to cut one way and work down, and if we want to stop it right here, right, like I said, she gets her to cut out to where the defender's sitting here. Well, right here, another defender playing a little too high on defense. And so now all Birmingham has to do is cut in when you let it play out the rest of the way. Just a nice little kiss off the glass for 2. And Jackson, this right here is a great textbook play for Northwest.
It is. It's the classic backdoor cut action. You want to get your defender's hip face towards the out of bounds line. You want their head completely away from the basket, focused on the player at the top of the perimeter. And Bailey Birmingham realizes that. Number 5 had a decision to make. She either had to guard the cut or she had to guard the pop back out from Birmingham, because in that moment, Birmingham has 2 options. She can go back out to Boston Wand here for the 3, because Boston Wands defender number 25 crashes with Birmingham, so that does leave some space at the top of the perimeter. But Birmingham, as tough as she is and as tough as she's been the leading scorer for the Bearcats, decides to take it right to the basket, draws the foul as well with the shot. So she is relentless and she's very fearless down the stretch here.
Yeah, and also lastly to mention, she has Brooklyn Stanley back here at the elbow. Just kind of pops up right there where if she needs to kick it out to the right side, she can.
Yeah.
But let's go to our second play right here. And this one has been another key to success on the defensive side. You know, we talked about Sadie Moss blocking out the noise for the Bearcats. She had 10 in the win against Missouri Southern, and right here, just how she does it. I mean, you can't sit here and stop someone that has a great reach like Sadie Moss. I'd love to get a wingspan estimate of what she has for her wingspan, but I don't think I'd try and break the paint on her just because I know at the end of the day I'm going to lose this battle.
And like you said about that, losing the battle, especially, I remember this UCO game, they came in very undersized compared to Northwest. And that is one thing that you're going to have to get in check when you have Boston Wand and Sadie Moss down low. Those two are super physical. The stature they possess, easily being able to get blocks and also rebounds. This game in particular, Moss had, she led in offensive rebounds for both teams. And that's something that she's been able to do all season long, but she's a big facilitator down low. She's going to make it hard for you to get points. Missouri Southern, their 5 forward, was not able to get a shot until the fourth quarter. She was 1 for 12, I believe, on field goals, and it's because Sadie Moss is so hard to get around. Even if she gets a fingertip on the ball, that's all that matters. And so, yeah, like you said, just very, very relentless down low.
Yeah, and one thing I want to point out here is a lot of people are going to say, oh, she's not straight up on defense. If you want to stop it here right now, you can kind of tell she starts off, put a little bit pressure down.
Right.
She definitely was, you could call maybe a blocking just because she wasn't straight up. But right here, she straightens up and she uses all of that power and all of that size to her advantage and really just ultimately gets that ball even before it goes up. And already has her defender beat and already has her defender, blocked to the shot before the shot even goes up. She had a hand on that ball before the play was even over. Right. But if we take a look at our third and final play, this one comes from the men's team in their game against Central Oklahoma. And so this one right here, this one's a good defensive play. The Bearcats are third in the MIAA, 18th in the nation, Jackson, in perimeter defense. Now this isn't a perimeter play. This is kind of the Achilles heel to some sense. This is more of a mid-range, but a very good defensive play by Royce Williams and company as they do a good job of applying just a little bit of a little extra shove in getting an off-balance, quick shot selection by the Broncos.
That's one thing to mention is the help side defense, especially from a guy like Royce Williams. This guy's a number 1 guard, and he's going up against a forward down low on the baseline shoulder. Royce Williams comes up from the top, and he realizes that there's a backdoor cut up to the basket. He does a great job of closing out and putting all of his chest in towards the baseline. He's not putting his hands up. All he's doing is wanting to get the force driven away from the basket. And this is such a smart basketball play by Royce. Just the extra bump, like you said, is all that it could take for them to miss the shot. Because as you see, it was more of a runner shot. He was running, and he had to absorb the contact to try and put the shot up. He was probably trying to draw the foul, but Royce did a great job of closing out. And then Jack Radigan down low as well. A tough rebound for him. But the down low defense, like you said, hasn't been the strong suit of Northwest. But when you get a play like this, you kind of almost have to mention it because it is a great basketball play.
Yeah, and you were talking about how they're trying to draw the foul. You can even see it right there. He tries to get that little extra oomph, kind of like you see D Wade with the pump fake going in. He tries to go in, but Royce Williams does a great job right here of, hey, I'm going to keep that hand up, and then he kind of plays back. He goes, oh, I didn't foul you. Trying to play a little bit safer and more precautionary tail, and ultimately does a great job in getting a good stop for the Bearcats in what ultimately was a great game for Northwest here against UCO. But that'll do it for this week's edition of the Weekend Sports Report. We'll be back in a week. We're going to send it to our final break of the show. We'll be back in a minute with more Bearcat Update.
Northwest Missouri State University's 4 student media outlets, KNWT Television, KZLX LPFM, the Northwest Missourian, and Tower Yearbook, have been ranked among the top in the nation for the College Media Association Pinnacle Awards. The Northwest Student Media Department takes pride in ensuring students are up to date on the latest technology, equipment, industry secrets, and offers profession-based learning experiences from day one. To support Northwest Student Media, check out our content on all of our platforms.
local music, local artists. Learn about them and the stories behind their music with On the Record, Mondays at noon on KNWT.
Welcome back to Bearcat Update. Earlier this week, our reporter Cayden Simpson sat down with women's basketball freshman Boston Wand. She talked about her recruitment process and her family ties to Northwest. Here's a quick look at that interview.
Welcome back to another Bearcat exclusive interview. Today I'm here with Boston Wand, a freshman women's basketball player. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was the recruitment process. So coming to Northwest, what brought you here and what was the process like?
Yeah, so mainly my recruitment was through club basketball, and my dad went here and my brother goes here, so obviously I kind of knew of the school already. And I've been down here multiple times, so I already kind of knew the culture was really strong. And then talking to like Coach Meyer, I realized he was a good coach, and coming on visits here, like it really felt like a good fit.
And you just brought up like your brother who plays here now and your dad who played here a while ago and also got drafted to play in the NFL. What's that like, having a father that played professional sports and then a brother who's also here playing football?
Yeah, it's definitely super cool. They both have had, like my dad had great athletic career here, and my brother the same, especially this past year they had a great football season. So I think it's definitely cool to like carry the Wand last name in basketball instead of football.
And then to shift things a little bit over to the court. So in high school, your senior year, you shot 55% from the field and were all district. How have you developed, the efficiency and taking good shots and making that a big part of your game?
Yeah, definitely. The offense here is a little different than what we ran in high school. So definitely here, I just like adjusting to new players and kind of just finding my role. So kind of just finding open shots for myself, and even looking out for my teammates too.
And speaking of new players and stuff, who has been your biggest mentor here? As a freshman, you have the senior leaders, and who you really stick to this year?
I would definitely say we were a pretty young team, but I would say like the other talls have definitely helped me. Even when I came in, they were willing to work with me individually, help me, like even just like rebound for me and give me tips and stuff, because they were already here before me. So that definitely helped.
And do you remember any like specific piece of advice that maybe a coach has given you this year, or a player, or even in the past, if there was something from, like you said, club ball or like high school that really sticks with you?
I always tell myself everything happens for a reason. So that kind of always just pushes me, no matter what happens, it's meant to happen. So yeah.
That's amazing. And then the last thing, so this season, what is the number one thing you've learned about yourself from being here at Northwest over 1 year?
I've definitely learned, like, I would say my confidence levels, I would feel like have gone up. I feel like I've worked harder here. I feel like I've had more fun, like, especially being around my teammates. We all get along so well, so I think that has helped too.
All right, thank you so much.
Thanks, Cayden. The Northwest Missouri State University campus and larger Maryville community is home to roughly 3,600 students. A large majority of the Northwest students are either originally from the state of Missouri or another surrounding Midwest state. And as such, they enjoy the luxury of being able to go home just about any weekend they feel like it. Of course, Northwest is also home to many international students who spend much of the year thousands of miles apart from home and their families. Many of the Bearcat athletic programs feature at least one international student on their roster. But none is more driven by international talent than the Bearcat tennis team, which is made up of 18 out of 21 international athletes across both men's and women's teams. Recently, our reporter Destiny McDonald sat down with a couple members of the tennis team to talk about their challenges of being so far from home and how they've overcome them.
For two international students here at Northwest Missouri State University, their love for the game of tennis has taken them thousands of miles away from home and into a whole new chapter of life. Polina Gontarek, a junior tennis player from Ukraine, talks about how her brother inspired her to play tennis.
So my brother wanted to play tennis, and then I kind of like went there too. My mom just put me on the court, and then I started watching more tennis on the TV, and I played my first tournament when I was 8, so I like the competition, I liked practices, and like year by year I was improving, and that's what made me inspired, that like my own improvement.
Paulina's love for tennis began her journey. For Antonin Laborn, that same passion brought him across the world from Paris to compete here in Maryville, Missouri.
I felt like the opportunity to come in the US was just like so cool, and just I tried to manage to make it, and I'm right here now.
Antonin admits the hardest part of his journey was leaving Paris and his family behind.
I'm someone who is very like a family guy, so I think being far away from my family is pretty hard, even with the friends and stuff like that. So it was pretty hard at the beginning, especially during my freshman, sophomore year. But now I would say I got used to it.
While leaving family is a huge sacrifice, Paulina touches on the sense of family she gained from her teammates and students here at Northwest.
All of us international players on the tennis team were super lucky, because most of the players are coming from different countries and different cultures, and we kind of understand each other in this situation that we're far away from home. So we give each other the support, and that's what helps a lot. But also, I feel like people at Northwest are super friendly, so I don't feel like I don't belong here. Everyone is friendly, everyone says welcome, and it's very, very welcoming environment here, so that's what helps a lot for sure.
Both athletes agree living on their own has helped them to become independent adults.
Living on your own without mom or dad cleaning your shoes or whatever like that, like of course it helps you to grow way faster than if you were home.
You don't have your parents right next door, you have to deal with lots of stuff by yourself, and that shapes your personality, your character. You kind of just thrown in the adult world, and you start figuring some things out on your own. So that's like helped me a lot to be more responsible and just like, I guess, stronger.
Every serve, every match, and every minute away from home is a part of a journey that is still unfolding. This is Destiny McDonald reporting for Bearcat Update. Back to you.
Thanks, Destiny. Now that's all the time we have for today. I've been your host, Hayden Lavaley, and this has been Bearcat Update, the provider of complete coverage of Northwest sports. We're live every Sunday at 2, and you can find us on YouTube at KNWT TV. Along with Bearcat Update, you can watch KNWT's other content. Thank you all for watching, and we'll be back in no time.